Well, hello and welcome to yet another Daily Dominion. We are here on Base Monday, meaning that we have a base set kingdom, at least partially, mixed this time with adventures. And yeah, I'm excited to say that today I have a bit of special stuff prepared, but before we get to that, I will put a timestamp and we'll first discuss the kingdom because the stuff I've prepared is somewhat dependent on that. So let's start by looking through the cards. So I'll hide my camera. We have Chapel. Trash up to 4 cards from your hand, and it's only a 2-cost card, but it's a very, very strong, one of the strongest 2-cost cards in the game. As trashing 4 cards from your hand is incredibly good, because especially if you get rid of your starting cards, those pesky coppers and estates that you start the game with, you can really, yeah, you can really uh, see the good stuff much more often and handle curses better and all of that stuff. So yeah, you really want to go for Chapel in most games it's in. The only exceptions from that are usually kingdoms that have other really, really strong trashing that you have access to almost immediately. We then have Coin of the Realm, which is a treasure and also a reserve card. Reserve is a mechanic from adventures, and reserve cards mean that you put them onto your reserve, onto your tavern mat. Sorry, I've briefly forgot the name, but it's right there. Put this onto your tavern mat when you play the Coin of the Realm, and then you may call this after playing an action card for getting 2+2 actions. So essentially, this Coin of the Realm is +2 free actions after you've played it, but it's also a hand size decreasing village, as whenever you play it, you have to first draw it, and it doesn't draw your card. But at least it gives you a coin when you play it. And it will stay on your tavern mat indefinitely until you call it, and then go back to your deck afterwards. We have Merchant, +1 card, +1 action. The first time you play a silver this turn, +1 coin, so a peddler variant. We have Gardens, which is worth 1 victory point per 10 cards we have. In this kingdom, I'm not sure whether we'll go for those because, yeah, we'll point out a flaw in this kingdom later. Militia, +2 coins. Each other player discards down to 3 cards in their hand. And yeah, that's a strong attack card. Discarding down to 3 cards can be quite brutal. Poacher, +1 card, +1 action, +1 coin. Discard a card per empty supply pile. So this one is like Merchant. It gives you +1 card, +1 action, and +1 coin. It does so unconditionally. You don't need to find your silver, but in a late game, once some supply piles are depleted, it gets worse. In this kingdom, for sure, the curses are going to run with Witch around. Other piles, I'm not sure, not super sure about, unless you go into some like extended duchy dancing or gardens dancing. But yeah, poacher might as well be a oasis variant here. Later in the game, being +1 card, +1 action, +1 coin, and discard a card. Throne Room, you may play an action card from your hand twice. This is a super nice village variant because even though it is a hand size, um, well, it's a throne room, so it can be hand size neutral or hand size decreasing, but uh, just double playing any action card is really a strong effect. For example, if you double play Merchant, you will draw 2 cards and have 2 actions afterwards, and then even get the 2 coins later. I don't know. Don't sleep on Throne Room as well. Relic, +2 coins. It's a treasure as well. Each other player puts their -1 card token onto their deck, and -1 card token means that whenever the other player would draw the next card, they would need to first remove the -1 card token instead of drawing the next card. So let's say you've attacked them with Militia and then also played a Relic that turn, which it's quite a brutal combo because then if they play a Poacher, for example, they will just not draw a card. Yeah, This kingdom is attack heavy. Storyteller. +1 action, play up to 3 treasures from your hand, then +1 card, and pay all of your coin per, and then +1 card per coin you paid. So if you first play a poacher and then a storyteller, the coin that you get from a poacher will be counted towards those coins. And we saw it yesterday, it can be a super strong draw with some golds, for example, or with relic as well, I think. Yeah, we might go for one or two of them, but also there's other nice-ish draw, like yeah, we'll see in a bit. Witch +2 cards. Each other player gains a curse. Very strong attack card. You shouldn't skip this usually, even in kingdoms with strong trashing. When I started out playing Dominion, I always thought, oh well, in kingdoms where you can trash a lot with Chapel, which is not really worth going for, but that's completely wrong because playing the Chapel and trashing cards de depletes your hand size, and you have to draw those curses, you have to trash them, and that really can slow you down. So you usually, like, almost never want to skip on Witch unless there's other cursors or, yeah, some other conditions. We have two events from adventures, which are save. For 1 coin, you can buy save, and that means once per turn you get your buy back after, sorry, buying this save. Set aside a card from your hand and then put it into your hand at the end of turn after drawing. So, for example, here with the 2, I could just pay 1, buy save, set aside a copper, and then buy another card or whatever. And the setting aside means that uh, I'm going to start the next turn with 6 cards in hand here. However, Militia is kind of a counter to save, but still putting in a few saves in between is usually pretty nice. We finally have Pathfinding, which is a very strong event, but also costs 8. Move your +1 card token to an action supply pile. When you play a card from that pile, you first get +1 card. And the +1 card token, well, is another token from adventures. Here, good targets for it would, I think, depend on the state of your deck when you, at the time you get Pathfinding. I think you really want to go for it because it gives you more reliable draw, but viable targets for it here are Throne Room, maybe Merchant, depending on how many of those you have in deck, maybe Poacher. I don't think you want to put it on Witch because, well, it's just better to put it on cards that give you back your action, because then if you find those in your starting hands, it's much better than drawing that third card. And on Militia, it also doesn't make any sense. On Chapel, not as well, well, but yeah. Also Storyteller. If you have a few Storytellers, it might make sense on that. But I think it will be easier to rack up a few Poachers and Throne Rooms. All right. This brings us to the Kingdom analysis section. And yeah, this is where I've prepared something. Let's first see, take a look at the Kingdom plot. The Kingdom plot has this beautifully symmetric odd shape where there's absolutely no gains in this kingdom. And yeah, and this prompted me for a search, and I looked through all of the daily kingdoms, and looked through all of them and looked at the total qualities. I'm not going to get into how I'm calculating those, but essentially each card has gain quality on a scale from 0 to 3, and then I use a formula to add them up for the kingdom, but as soon as just one card has a gain quality of at least 1, the gain quality of the total kingdom is also at least 1. So in this kingdom, there's no extra gains whatsoever. So we'll at most buy 1 card per turn. I guess there is extra gains and curses, and your opponent can curse you, but you don't have any you have no influence on whether your opponent buys which, so that's not really a gain quality. And then yeah, this prompted a search for qualities with for kingdoms with no gain qualities in over the course of all dailies. And actually today is the first kingdom in those 775 kingdoms that has no gain quality whatsoever, according to my criteria. And yeah, this is quite insane, or at least it was surprising to me. Um, so yeah, maybe just as some context, you may look stuff like this up in my on my website that I'm hosting through Streamlit. You can see it here. It's called randomkingdominion.streamlit.app. .streamlit.app because I'm not hosting it myself, but rather have it hosted via Streamlit. But it's a kingdom randomizer, and here you can also look at all of the cards that I've assigned any gain quality to. So there are in total 341 CSOs, short for card-shaped objects, that I've assigned any gain quality to. You can see it here in this column. And also I've assigned gain types, so you can see woodcutter gives buys, workshop is a workshop variant, you have remodels, and I explain all of those things here. I explain all of the quality assessments here. And there's also a database where you can look through all of the 940 CSOs that are available. Keep in mind that those also include stuff like campaign effects. So those are not strictly CSOs. Let's go down here. Those are of course not strictly CSOs, but yeah, it's a website that I've initially made to do this kingdom randomizer because I wanted to devise my own that takes into account those engine qualities where you can select them, but then it grew into some more. And also what you can do here is you can select existing kingdoms to visualize. For example, the dailies. Of course, this doesn't have the last 10 kingdoms or so on the website yet. I think the last time I updated this was on the um, 6th of March. But yeah, you can select it here. It will put the kingdom as a string here, and it will also give you the kingdom plot here. And yeah, just I don't know, as a small self advertisement for the card and landscape rules interactions. Actually, there has been an errata, so some of those might be outdated, but still those feature interactions between any two cards. But I might make a dedicated video to this in the future. Sorry for this long rambling about this website. Oh, I didn't want to show that yet, but I actually wanted to get rid of this, but you just saw it. So when seeing this kingdom plot, I looked through the distributions of total qualities of each of the kingdoms and just made a plot and wanted to see what is the total quality of a given kingdom in terms of village, in terms of draw, in terms of thinning, in terms of gaining. And as you can see, gains are the most abundant of those qualities that I've assigned. There are about a quarter of kingdoms that don't have any alternate victory points. There is about a quarter of the kingdoms, now well, about a fifth maybe of the kingdoms that don't have any attacks. And yeah, most of the kingdoms have an average village draw, thinning, and gain quality of 2, so these have engine qualities. But there are a bunch of kingdoms that don't have any village stuff, that don't have any thinning, and yeah, I just thought this would be interesting to look at. So I spent some time making those plots to show to you right now. Anyways, this has been a rather lengthy discussion. I'm sorry. This is my nerdy side speaking. Let's focus on what to do in this kingdom on today's daily. There might be a dedicated video for the website soonish. I don't know when I'll find the time. Currently, quite just recording the dailies has been straining my schedule quite a bit. But yeah, let's see. So in this kingdom, we have no gains, what we saw. Let's look at this kingdom plot once again. But there is thinning and chapel, super strong thinning actually. there's draw, village, alt VP in terms of gardens and attacks. There's a draw in storyteller and witch, and also pathfinding on poacher or throne room or merchant. And there, yeah, we do want to keep the attacks going, and we do want to get those attacks online. Online. So all the while trashing down to get a very thin deck. This might be a very long game just because of the restriction of gaining just one card per turn. And what we'll go for here, I think, is a mixture of chapel to thin down, relic, militia, throne room, witch stuff, and some poachers mixed in to play those throne rooms non-terminally. Of course, you can also throne room, but that, yeah, well, also lets you double play 2 action cards. Let's see. Maybe we'll throw in a storyteller. We will throw in a few of Coin of the Realms, just so for the worst case where we draw our witch and no other plus actions on in our hand, we can just play them easily. So the start here would naturally be Chapel Militia, I think. But since we have the 2/5, so Chapel Militia and maybe a save thrown in if you have the 3 cost, it's 3 on your second turn, then I would save an estate over the shuffle for sure. But since we have the 2/5, we can just open Chapel and Witch or Chapel and Relic. So yeah, both of those are viable openings. At first I thought I would go Chapel Relic just to have the silver variant. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm actually liking Chapel Witch, just because if they collide, we can save the Chapel to our next turn. And already cursing the AI from the early game on seems very strong. So let's go for that. Yeah, and start this kingdom. So go Chapel Witch. Let's see what the AI does. It also goes Chapel Witch, and our chapel is actually in there. Had we found the other estates here, I would have just skipped playing this witch, but since the last 2 cards there are estates, I think I like playing the witch and just saving chapel. It's not optimal, but yeah, what can you do? So we do get to trash cards here, get to play the relic, and our witch misses, which is really bad. I think I like saving an estate here and getting another Coin of the Realm. Like, our main goal in the early game is to not get all too bogged down by the attacks. Let's save another estate here. And maybe... so the estate save is, of course, because we will see the chapel the next turn. There's one more Coin of the Realm in there. And a curse and a copper, I think. So, well, what do we want to do here? We'll have... I think I like putting in a throne room, just because we might be able to do exactly what AI just did to us there, and just double play the witch. At least we do get to trash out a bit here. Yeah, that was quite brutal, but we do get to throne room witch. Had we drawn the chapel here, of course, we would have called the Coin of the Realm. So like this, we just say, okay, let's put in a militia. I'm liking over-terminaling myself here because of all of those coins of the realm we have. Next turn, we'll be able to either double play the witch, or we'll be able to... yeah, no, there's witch militia. So yeah, let's just get the coin of the realm. We might not need to double play the witch because you might end up with the two curses ourselves. Yes, we do. But I think that's okay. We still want to double play here. Let's hope we don't miss the chapel. We only draw 3 cards. We of course missed the chapel. That's not great. But yeah, we do get to play Militia Relic, which is quite brutal. And AI doesn't have a militia yet, so that's great. At this point, I think what we might want is just more throne room. Yes, throne room seems good. And we don't find our witch, unfortunately. And here we can double play the militia. Call a coin of the realm. Do we want to thin this copper? How much money do we have left after this? We've called 1 coin. There's 2 coins currently in there. No, there's 1 more coin in there. And so if we double play the... So my main question is now, can we hit 8 next turn? And I think the answer to this is yes, even if we trash this copper. And for that reason, I think I like putting in another throne room. We might be a bit light on draw. Now, so these are 4 cards. Next turn we will draw 4 cards. And yeah, I think we might just want to put in a poacher and not another throne room, just to be able to, even though it will discard 1 card, I think that might be the best course of action. Merchant isn't going to do anything for us. And yeah, I think that's the way to go. Especially since AI might attack us with Relic, yeah. We don't need to call it yet, but we can call it here. And we can double play the poacher to get to the end of this shuffle. Play the militia. And put pathfinding. I think at this point just on throne room. This looks good. Now here we can throne the throne. Now we just drew a card essentially. And we'll double play this poacher because then I will draw back up anyways, right? Yeah, if we double play the witch now, or we can even double play the militia. I don't think it matters much. The question now is how much more do we build before we go for the provinces? I think we have AI under nice control. So yeah, AI discards a relic, but it also has 2 relics. So yes, let's get rid of this last curse, play this coin of the realm. In principle, our deck would be able to province pretty, not reliably, but it would be able to province now. The question is, can we keep this up, or do we want to put in just a bit more draw? If we put in more draw, well, I was about to say we could have set aside something, but really doesn't make much sense here. This is now a question of philosophy. How much do we want to build? I think I like putting in 1 more throne room before we go for the provinces. Yeah, and we get to throne room, poacher. I'll try to play this quickly now. Throne room, militia. Don't even need to play the witch. Decline. We hit 8. Now Is this minimalistic deck going to be all right? I don't think so. I think this might open us up for really sad late-ish draws. So I think I like going for. Let's just go for the provinces and see what happens. We might be really in a bad state, but yeah, for example, here already we will. Well, I guess we'll be okay as well because we can double play this, and hit province again. But I don't think we're going to be able to hold this up, especially in the later stages. But I don't even know. Let's double play militia, double play witch. Maybe we should have put in one more coin to be able to set aside a card consistently. Yeah, actually that would have been a goal. But for now, my philosophy is just just get to a point, or just gobble up the provinces as long as we can, and then we may still let's decline this, decline that. Um, we even draw back up. We might struggle later, but then we can still add in better cards. So yeah, it's already turn 18. But at least we have 4 provinces in deck, a bunch of throne rooms, and yeah, this turn it happens that no, actually we will draw more, right? Because the throne room will play itself a second time. Decline here. Amazing. Look at this throne room extravaganza. Decline, decline. I think we have one more throne room coming in. And even get to double play the poacher, which allows us to hit 8 to pick up the 4th province. Now, surely this turn we won't be able to make it. But yeah, this throne room stuff is working out surprisingly well. Um, hmm, mhm. Like poacher twice, and now we finally dud. I mean, dud is um, a very negative thing to say here. We don't hit province for once. We get to save a province or a chapel, it doesn't matter here. And at this point, I think we just put in another poacher or another throne room. Both would allow us to cycle a bit more. No, well, I think I like the poacher just a bit more money, so we can set aside more stuff or the odd province. Look at this beautiful, beautiful deck. This is really funny, actually. And no, I should have double played the militia, of course, but we did draw a card there. Now we don't get to set aside something. Grave mistake. Yeah, I think one of AI's biggest mistakes in this kingdom is skipping militia. And then also, of course, this storyteller nonsense is doing nothing for it. So it really it just rolls around in the dirt and is not doing anything productive at all. At least the merchant might connect with silver. It did connect with chapel. Look at those amazing plays. AI hits 4 and goes all in for the gardens. Amazing. And let's double play this and that. Um, double play, yeah, amazing. We've thrown, so we do get to double play witch and then double play militia. Exactly. And now we could trigger this bad shuffle. I mean, bad shuffle, it's a province and a chapel. Or and then set aside a province, or we could not trigger the shuffle and not set aside anything. What is better? What is worse? I'm not sure. Let's see whether we can close it out here or AI will be able to close it out. Nope, not happening. Oh, look at this deck. Wow. Yeah, we did have some nice draws. I think in hindsight, I liked the point where we started provincing. It still took us 23 turns, so really a long time to get here, but it felt very clean in the end. I like the pathfinding on throne rooms. I like the the minimalistic deck choices. I also like not being hit by militia by AI. That would have been more of a pain. Although I think our game plan with the pathfinding was just more accurate. And then, of course, by reliably playing our militia each turn and playing our relic each turn, we successfully were able to just shut down the AI more or less completely. It even had a curse in its deck at the end of the game, which it didn't manage to trash. Yeah, well, I don't know. Nice little kingdom. Nice little no-gain kingdom. I once again let you see those beautiful plots to review and um, cherish. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, if you're into those statistical nerdy things, this is, yeah, I'm gonna be here for you. Let's see, and with this, I'll say goodbye and we'll try to catch you next time. Goodbye.